Hello, guys, and Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back once again to my podcast of inspiring stories. This is Share, your coach, as always. I am super excited, like always, super thrilled to come forward with another story. And today it's not a survivor story. Today I've chosen a very interesting topic, and that is toxicity in Pakistani culture. It's one of the things I've really wanted to shed some light on, talk about it, and no better person than my fellow friend who is also living in Pakistan and has great knowledge about what goes around in culture. Without any further delay, let me bring on my guest today and let's talk about what toxic cultural things are destroying us. Guys, my friend is already in the house. Let me bring him in and let's start our conversation. Just connecting with him.
Assalamu alaikum, Mavish.
Walaikum assalam. How are you today, Hanan?
Alhamdulillah, I'm great. How about you?
I am fine. Hanan, before we dive into our conversation, just a little introduction. I know we've done this before, but just for somebody who's listening to you for the first time, just a little self introduction.
My introduction is same as always. What I'm going to say is more important than who I am and what I do. So all I want is to people to focus on what I'm going to talk about and what we are discussing over here. That is the main topic and that is the main concern. But in short, I can say that I'm the person you need in time. I'm the person in need. That's what I can say for now.
Awesome, awesome. Hanan, so as you do know, we're going to talk about toxicity in our culture. I want you to shed some light, your views, how you see toxic culture in especially Pakistani society.
Actually, I have a very different kind of view on that thing. It would be better that first we discuss the thing what in general is perspective that that people consider to be toxic here. That what's their definition of being toxic and what are the things they consider toxic. So could you please elaborate a little bit about that toxic culture? What exactly we are going to talk about?
So I want you to shed some light upon your views, not people's views, but your personal
Okay.
views on what you think is toxic in our culture. What are the things that are harming men and women in this society, which do not need to be part of our culture, but they have been made a part of our culture and is destroying us.
Actually, for the word toxic, people consider to the things that are being poisonous for the people or for culture or for a mindset. You can use it for any of them. But for me, let me give you an example first. What does thieves do? What does robbers do? They rob. What does thief do? They steal. So you cannot complain about bad people doing bad things.
Right,
Actually, they are toxic as considered by our society. They are considered to be the toxic people.
right.
Those who stop you from achieving your goals, those who always try to distract you or like pull your legs, people consider those sort of people like toxic. But actually, they are not the toxic people. They are actually, I consider them good people because their job is doing bad thing and they are doing it with 100% intention and they are putting effort for that. The real toxic persons are those who consider themselves good. Toxic people are doing their job as so-called toxic people that we call them. They are doing their job, but the people who can do good, they are doing nothing. And those who are doing nothing and sitting behind and waiting for things to happen and waiting for someone to come to them and ask for help before reaching them, they are the real toxic people because they are not doing what they can do. So for me, they are the real toxic people. They are not doing what they can do. The good people are the toxic people for me.
Interesting. That's a really interesting perspective. But Hanan, tell me something. I think there is so much cultural traditions, cultural beliefs that are not doing us any good, but more harm. Uh, like let's talk about. I'll give you an example. Let's talk about wedding, for example. The
Hmm.
thing with the dowry, right? This mindset where a father is obligated to have a certain amount of dowry before he weds his daughter. It's a cultural thing. It's nothing to do with faith. And because culture has made it such a big thing that from the lowest class to the elitist class, everybody is obligated to fulfill this right, and they have to go over beyond and over their means to fulfill that, because then where is the respect? This is our respect, this is our family integrity. What will the people say? Nobody will marry my daughter if I don't give dowry. So these kind of cultural beliefs, how are we going to dismantle them? How are we going to break through them and let people breathe and let people be and live how they want to live, instead of cultural teaching them how they need to live their lives, you know?
What I have seen here after meeting several people is not about the fact that the groom's father is asking for dowry. Usually that's the perspective that the grooms on from the groom side they ask for dowry or like they like for money or anything like that. But now I have also witnessed that the girls who are not educated, they also think that dowry is their right. Even they force their own parents to get me this and that like dresses. I want this kind of they ask for dowry. Groom side asks for dowry, but it's the bride who decides what brands he wants, what washing machine, like whatever the utensils or anything. The bride is the one who decides. And when both parties are agree, the one who is asking and the one who is giving, what can we do? If there is a case like one party is asking and other is denying it, they have a chance and that can be settled before the wedding. You don't have to marry your daughter if they are asking for dowry and you cannot give them. Why are you giving them your daughter to them? So it's a basic check for them. When both parties are agree, then what can you say them? What can you teach them?
But Hanan, that's
Actually,
the
there is a
point. But that's the point. You see, this is the mindset. I'm a girl and I'm brought up in this culture. You're a boy brought up in this culture, a man. But we are brought up with this mindset that dowry is important. You grow, you're born, you open your eyes, and that's what you hear all your life. Dowry, 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 dowry. You won't get married unless you have married. We're not talking about a woman's choice of selection over her dowry. That's totally something else. It's the constant demand that dowry is essential. It's understood sometimes. Yes, you find greedy people who demand, boy side demands, but it's our understood mindset that when you wed your daughter, you are supposed to give XYZ. And whether it's the poorest guy who doesn't even own a home, he is dying, he's taking loans, he is begging on streets that please give me X amount because I need to give this dowry to my daughter. If I don't, I will be shamed in my community. My daughter will be shamed in her in-laws for coming here without bringing dowry. So you see, we have a set mindset, right? And that mindset comes from cultural beliefs that we've been brainwashed into. That's why I said toxicity, right? Now we're living in a bubble of toxic cultural beliefs that are not really our beliefs. You see, I am from this culture. I was born and raised here, and I lived 27, 28 years of my life in Pakistan. But then I went to USA, right? And before I did, I had a set in stone mindset and nothing could change it. When people from outside would come and say, no, this is wrong. Then I was like, what the hell are you talking about? This is my culture and it's totally okay. And what you're saying is I refute that because it doesn't make any sense. Because I was living in a bubble, right? But then I was taken out of the bubble and I went to USA. And I think that God had blessed me with showing me and giving me a vision to see that all these cultural beliefs were not even mine to begin with. But since I was brought up in it, since I was brainwashed in it, I grew up believing that they were a part of me, a part of my identity. And to let go of them was going to be let going of myself. But the reality was, it was nothing to do with me. It was just the brainwash. And when the mask came off, or when I got clarity, I realized that how much are we losing ourselves. And I've just given one hypothetical example of dowry. There's so many we could talk about. My thing is, I have a level of self awareness and I work on it every day to take it to the next level, to the next level. And same with you. You're working on self awareness, bringing awareness. We two people in this space are different because we were privileged to have that self-awareness through our story, through whatever you want to call it. God chose us. But for people before, like you and me, before our awareness, we had set stone uh, mindset, right? And it was hard to break it. For you and me having this conversation, how can you and I work on bringing the awareness where we can actually trigger or tap into people's reality and tell them this is not reality, this is toxicity which you've been brainwashed since generations, and you no longer need to live with it. You can let go of it, free yourself, and you would be okay. Nobody's going to shame you, and if they do, they'll come around later, you know.
Like that's the case, but the thing is, like we are talking about dowry, their toxic side, but you realize that toxic side after the wedding, after the dowry is given, after some time you came to know about that toxic side. But before that, the problem is, like before things to happen, like if you say someone that dowry is a bad thing, saying something is bad is one thing, but you have to give them some reason then why it is bad. What
Mm,
are the toxic side of that dowry?
mm,
And when you talk people, they don't know what I in Pakistan, what I know, and not just in Pakistan, it's in every culture. It's not the thing. It's not the term awareness. It's the
mm,
term greed. People are greedy.
mm,
Either they want to avoid pain or they want to gain pleasure. Either they want
mm,
something or they're like that. So someone has to teach them that what are the downside of dowry,
mm,
what you can, what are the things, and no one is teaching them. The main thing is, and look, the thing is, people talk about culture, and one of the most important aspect that reflect on culture is religion. Wherever you live, in
mm,
India or in US or in Pakistan, culture is in religion is the major part of our culture.
mm,
And if you don't have your strong roots, like you don't have strong base, you don't know what you are made to do. And people talk about culture, ask them what is your culture. If someone asks us what is it is not culture. You adopt something from west, something from here, something like there, and you make a remix and call it your culture, and everyone has different culture. This is not culture. I'm not saying what to follow or what to know, what not, but whatever you believe in, you have to go through that. If someone says dowry is a good thing, I said, okay, go for it. We
mm,
cannot say that, we cannot teach them like dowry is a bad thing, this and that. That person won't listen to me.
mm,
If I'm saying that it is bad, he is going to do what he has planned in his mind. And on the other end, I let us put it that way. There are demand of drug and there are drug addict and drug dealer.
mm.
Who is more toxic? Who is running the cycle? What would you say?
Both equally. Both
uh,
equally. The
if
one
if
selling
there is
and the one taking, yes.
exactly, that's the whole point. If there is demand, then there is supply.
Mm,
People are
yeah.
asking for it, and that is it,
That's
and
what
they
I'm
are
talking
receiving it.
about. That is because the demand has been set. The demand was set way before we came in this world. And where you talked about uh, religion, it's not culture, it's religion. When I look in Pakistan, I don't see religion, to be honest. I see more
Exactly.
of culture being imposed than religion, because if we were to live by our religion, it would be such a peaceful life. But I see that there's so many things that are not part of Islam, nothing to do with Islam,
Exactly.
but they've taken a front seat in culture, and they're manipulated and they're used, that this is in religion. Now we, because of social media, we have the space and we're privileged, a lot of us, that we get the exposure to understand that, okay, this is really not my faith. And for me to really dismantle it, it was hard. Okay, let's forget about diet, let's talk about men. You're a man. Let's talk about men. How many? I know tons and tons of men, but you're a man, so you would know better. How much do we shame men around showing their emotions? How much do we put men down if they want to cry? How much do we put men down if they're weak? How much do we put men down if they want to be good to their wives? You're not man, be a man, put it in her shoes, stop crying, stop being a girl. So tell me this, uh, does a man program without the emotional system? Why are men put down in our culture when they want to show their emotions? Why is masculinity a sign of weakness if you're showing your
Ex-
emotions?
Exactly. That's the same thing goes for men. There is supply and there is demand. A man is raised in a certain way. If I'm behaving like that or speaking or sharing my thoughts, it's because of my parents. It's because of my upbringing, what they have taught me, and this is how I'm responding to that. On the other hand, if someone is doing the opposite, it is only because there are many people in market or doing bad stuff or saying bad thought. They are someone's children, and the parents have like they have not done their work on them. They are like put them easy. So that's the case. They have to teach them, and that is what it reflects on. If a man is speaking, it's because of a woman. If a woman is not educated, not that there is some part, mother is responsible. Both parents are responsible. It's not just mother. Both parents are responsible for teaching their daughter or stuff like that. But the thing is, if you want to achieve something, actually, I say there is a different. If we all have our own opinion, and we all believe that our opinion is right, and there is no criteria to judge if we are saying the right thing. You cannot prove them. There is not a single thing with which you can prove that I'm saying the right thing. Everyone has
Right.
their own version of reality. So you cannot put something that they are not ready to accept unless or until they are in pain. Like a doctor, you say that now you don't have to eat this, you don't have to eat ice cream or cold drink. Then you put restriction on them after bad has happened. In the same way, you cannot tell them, but the best way to teach people is to show them. I cannot. The thing is here, most of the people say dowry is a bad thing. They want things to be simple. They want women right, etc., etc. Many things. But the thing is, when someone asks them, like for people, there is an argument. You don't have to do a mehndi function. And the guy, if someone is saying that, the next question people ask them, have you done your mehndi? And that guy say yes. Then say, why are you saying that? Because they have done the same thing, they cannot teach that. That's the culture, that's the point in Pakistan. If you want to you have to speak the truth before saying don't lie. Things like that are happening. So people don't accept. People, if you teach them, they start to judge you, that you haven't done that, then why are you teaching like that? They are not understand, they won't understand that this is for their betterment. And the thing is like and the same reason the dowry is given, people judge them with that. Like, look what they have given their daughter in dowry, they have nothing. With dowry they measure that the girl belonged to a good family. Without their dowry they think they're poor. And the question, you know what, it's off the topic, but for nowadays I'm working on like researching on wedding and event. There are certain questions like when there is a wedding situation, there are bride's parent and there are groom's parent. Who do you think is on top? Most
Of
of the
course, the
time it's
brides.
from. Exactly. They are always like they are like their servants. They are always like on their toes for the function to go well. And I have, you will see in future, I have a few questions like they used to lutana paise. And I asked the question, why do you do that? Is it culture?
Right.
Is it religion? What is it? What is this? Have you earned it from haram means why? If I earn something from halal means I put effort for that. That why would I throw my money like that? And what is that going to give you? You have spent thousand for nothing. These are the things they need to do. And there is a thing called in Pakistan, they call it rasam. They said that our parents, our forefathers have done this, so we are going to do it. So if
Right.
you want that, you think they are bad. and they are not part of religion, and it's not against religion. They are just culture and things. So why don't you create your something new? That is good. You can have your own kind of rasam that are good. So
Mm,
why don't you do that? Why are you following the same thing? If you
mm.
want something to be good, let's start or put a list. Make some rasam that you like or that are good for you. They don't do that.
I
So
think one of
that's the
one of
thing.
the one of the main things I personally think, and I can totally be wrong, one of the main issues is that especially in Pakistan, everything is scrutinized under religion. So some things have got nothing to do with our faith. Some things are just cultural, and they should be promoted and they should be accepted being a part of culture. It's got nothing to do with faith or your faith being questioned. So when you try to blend them both too much, by bringing everything that this is not in religion, this is not in religion, then you just kind of like, you can't manage it. Some things are just cultural. They've got nothing to do with religion. As long as you're honoring your religion, it's okay. And the other thing is, so we talked about dowry, we've talked about men not being able to show our emotions, and there's so many other things that you and I and anybody in this space, Hindu culture still exists. And oh yes, there's a lot of Hinduism in our culture. But what I'm trying to say is, we know, the thing is that you, me, anybody listening who is a Pakistani knows that, yeah, okay, this is what we all talk about. These are issues, these are toxicities, this is generational trauma, this is this, whatever. My thing and my question to you now is, Hanan, how do from this point on, how do we work on ourselves? How do I work on myself? How are you going to work on yourself to bring a better, brighter tomorrow for Pakistanis, where, and like you said, it's not about having a dowry. If I can afford a dowry, well and good, I will go with it. But this mindset that a poor man who can barely feed his family 2 meals a day is crying and is going asking loans and begging people to give him an X amount of money because now he needs to wed his daughter because culture has put that in him. So there has to be there has to be some understanding, some way of creating that awareness for people, where we could say, hey, listen, if you want to do it, well and good. If you can afford it, well and good. But if it's killing you, if it's if you have to go out and beg, and if you have to go take out loan, and stuff like that, where are we going to draw that line? How are we going to make people understand by creating that awareness that it's okay, just let it go.
What I would say, first of all, if there is something toxic or something that you don't like in any way, not just in culture or in any way, first of all,
Right.
you have to learn to speak no. If you don't like something, you have to clearly say no. You don't have to do that thing.
Set a
And the second
boundary.
thing is, yes, exactly. That I learned from your post. So, and the second thing, if you don't know something, you can say, I don't know, but that does not mean you buy the other person point of view. If you don't know something and it is for your concern and you have to do it, don't just act upon someone else advice. First, educate yourself, learn how. If you want to do wedding, learn whatever ways. Like if you want a religion point of view, you learn the religion point of view wedding, how wedding should be done in Islam. If you want to, I'm not saying you should conduct
Right,
your
right,
wedding
right.
in a Islamic manner. But if you want to learn, you should to learn.
Mm.
If you want to do your wedding in a Hindu manner, like in a culture like that, learn that first. So the second thing is get yourself educated before doing anything. Doesn't
Mm.
matter. You have to. It's education is not just for chemistry, physics, maths.
Mm.
Everything. We are here like having a live session here. We have to learn this. There are
Yeah.
better ways to do that. We can add value in that if we are going to learn about that. So second thing is you have to learn about that. And the third thing is never try to educate toxic people. They are the cause of that toxicity, and you are educating them. Please don't do that. And by doing that, you are not weakening them. You are actually giving them more strength by showing your weak spots. And
Mm.
they are, if you convince, they are try to convince them, they will target you. So leave that toxic people. And people think that there are more toxic people in our society and less good people, or you can say the opposite of toxic, whatever you call them. Any word you can choose for that. They
Healthy.
are greater peop- but the reality is there are large number of people who are not that toxic. That toxic people are so small in number, so small in number. In every family there is one toxic baba, not everyone, one toxic baba who is not educated, and they said what he we will follow him or we will follow her. You don't have to follow her, that one person, and you are following him. What's the point in that? And if you are educated, well educated, or not well educated, you have some sort of awareness, you have some sense, you are on social media, at least you should know what is good and what is bad.
But we
And
don't
this
know. That is the thing. This is really interesting, Hanan, because that is the thing. Last year we had COVID, okay, and there were some SOPs put in place, right? And the SOPs were social distancing, wearing your mask, and I'm talking way before the vaccine came, right? And now this is really, we are educated fools actually. I You cannot go to illiterate people and expect much for them. You have to first take the responsibility of educating them. So you cannot expect much from an illiterate person who lives on the street, right? But from educated people, from good family people who've gone to top like universities even outside Pakistan, right? When those people show up, like the most illiterate people of your society, then how are we going to change? You see, we have to work. How do you, like, my question is, how do we create a better tomorrow? Like we live here, and look at the smog issue, for example.
exactly.
Look at the amount of awareness we have. Most trash in our country is by people who drive, rolling down their windows, throwing the trash out. So literate people, if they're going to act like illiterates, what do you expect from illiterate people? Where the majority of the people in our country are illiterate, right? So my thing is, where are we failing at? Is it the educational system? Because you see, I think in Pakistan, what we do is we like to shift the blame to something outside of ourselves. And I'll give you an example. I got COVID in June, and before that, I would open my curtains, and there's this huge garden out there. We live in an apartment, and then so there's this whole land in front of my garden, and there would be trash there. So for freaking 4 months, I would call the people in charge and say, somebody needs to clean the trash. Somebody needs to clean the kids. Nothing happened. Now this is what we do. This is the me, and then the new me. Now if it was the old me, I would say whatever. They're never going to pick up the trash. So let's just forget about it. Now this is the new me. I woke up. I had COVID. So of course in COVID you have to isolate. You have to stay in your room. So all I could do is just open my window, look outside 24/7. One day, second day, I literally was like, okay, now my mind needs to see something good, not trash and litter outside my window. The day I recovered from COVID, I went out, I found somebody on the street, and I said, I will give you this amount of money if you clean this litter. And he did. He cleaned it, and guess what? When I open my window now, I see a cleaner, better. The greenery is good. There's no trash there, no shopping bags, there's no garbage there. So you see, I'm just giving you an example with the mindset. It's the mindset. We live in a society where we now everything is government. It's the government. The smog is the government's fault. The this is the government. How can we educate and empower people that take action, take control? You can change it. I took action by something so small. I could just say, okay, it's not my place, it's not my land, let it be full of dirt. No, but this is my space. I live here. It's not that the land didn't belong to me, but I wanted to see it cleaner, right? So I took action. I'm saying, how do we tap into people and say, hey, stop blaming the government, stop blaming the school system, stop blaming XYZ, and take charge of your life, take control. If something is bothering you, take action and change it. Why are we so obsessed in blaming somebody, being more frustrated, being more angry, but not really seeing that we have the power to change it. We could do that. We could be that someone. You see, you have to lead by example. See, like you said, if I'm going to go and teach about don't take dowry, dowry is bad, dowry, and then I go and give this huge dowry to my daughter, they'll say she educates on that, but she did the exact same opposite. So match your actions with your words and your words with your actions, vice versa. But on the same end, why cannot we empower our minds and open them and tell people, hey, what is bothering you today? Okay, the trash, the smog, what small action can you take in the now that can help you and others for the tomorrow or the tomorrow to come?
For your first question, that you said that why people don't do that, why people don't, instead of speaking, why don't they prefer doing it by themselves? And the answer is very simple, because that is easy. Saying someone is an easy step, and
Yeah.
people
Blame
nowadays
is
are
easy,
more
but
of
rather than taking
blame is easy
responsibility. Mm.
rather than taking responsibility. And when you take responsibility, and before you say someone, don't throw the trash here or anything like that,
Right.
you have to stop doing that thing first. If you
Yes,
do the same
absolutely.
thing, then you cannot say them. You need to be you need to set an example for others to follow,
Absolutely.
and then you are in a position to convey or educate others. And the second thing that you were talking, like the thing is that people here, that is another toxic thinking thought that is like progressing in our society, is that people consider that those who are educated are well, as compared to those who are not educated or not that well educated. Actually, the thing is, what I see, the people who are educated, they belong to a good family in terms of what our culture says. They are usually in more problems. They suffer through more pain. They suffer through more trauma. Those who are educated. I'm not talking about the illiterate ones. And those who are illiterate, they are like happy, they are having fun. Even if they are living in the garbage, they are still like, this is part of it. So that is also a toxic thought. And people need to learn that every educated person, if someone is educated, doesn't mean he is smart. And if
Mm.
someone is not educated, doesn't mean that guy or that person is stupid. You
Mm.
have to, there are some things, there are things that we are being taught in school or by our parents, but there are things that we need to learn by ourselves. And for that we need to make effort.
Life
Like you don't,
experiences.
from like a life experience. And what we do, the education is just this, what the education we get is just a small part of our, like our life.
Mm.
The main purpose of that education that we give, that get from
It's
university, is to,
grooming.
is to put ourselves in a position where we can earn handsomely, or
Mm.
we would be able to, like, our parents can feel proud in saying that what their child are doing, or for the rishta thing they can use that for their CV. That's the
Mm.
main purpose of that education. But
Mm.
if you are talking about the custom of our life, like our cultural thing, that how to conduct a wedding, how to raise your children, or you can say what is the better way to raise a child. Not, I'm not saying you go for the question how to raise, you don't know nothing, but you can always improve. If you know
Mm.
something, you just say, okay, I'm not saying you don't know how to raise a child, you know how to raise a child, but there could be better ways, or there could be something that you can add in those ways that you are already following. So that need to be done. And for that toxic thought, but the thing is, problem is still the same. You cannot bring someone out of that toxicity or that misery unless or until that person wants to get out of that thing.
Mm.
You cannot
Of
force
course.
them.
You and I both know that we cannot force somebody to do something they're not ready to do, or they're not aware of it, or they don't have understanding of it. But
Hmm.
my thing is, if we start to empower people, I'm not talking to people already toxic, right? Or people who are already like at our level.
Hmm.
I'm talking about people, younger generation, the tomorrow of our country. If we tap into empowering them, instilling in them confidence, telling them making mistakes is okay, telling them that failure is not their identities. If we empower them, if that's the mindset, then don't you think that there would be? Because you see, we're living for centuries with the same mindset. That is why we're getting the same results. The results really haven't changed much. Yes, they've evolved. I would not say they've not, but they've evolved. But really, more or less, the result is the same. So if we want different results, we're frustrated with the same results, whether it's government, whether it's the climate, whether it's the trash. What do we have to do now? What do we have to change in the now? And if we could tap into the younger lot and empower them with this kind of mindset, with this kind of awareness and self-confidence, I believe that we could definitely have a better, brighter Pakistan.
And for that nowadays it is very easy as compared to the old times. Nowadays the young generation, you can taught them easily because you don't need to make them understand something, or you not do not have to give them like benefits or like the drawbacks of adopting something. Actually the young generation nowadays, they follow trends. We see on Instagram the weddings, celebrity weddings, like
Mm.
we see highlights, $1 billion wedding, or like something like 1 lakh, the expensive wedding. Have you ever seen in our news the least expensive wedding, or the highlight in our news? Here in Pakistan, there was a wedding that was considered as a Guinness World Record. That is the cheapest wedding of the century. You are never going to see that highlight.
Mm.
And the other thing, for example, you buy two dresses, one is the cheap one and one is the expensive one. You don't have to use your mind in answering which one will look good.
Mm.
The
I think
expensive
it's
one.
I think the one I think for me as a woman, I would say it would all depend on how I carry myself, because something really cheap can look
Exactly.
really good in
But
how
if
you
there,
carry it
but
on
if
you.
there is a huge difference, but if there
Mm.
is a huge difference,
Mhm.
how you carry yourself is another thing. A 1,000 rupee dress compared to a 1 lakh dress, there is always going to be different. There is always going to be different. And if you remove these things that are not necessary, that we
Mm.
have just put, and that's also a part of culture here in Pakistan. People used to spend on things just for the sake of like showing someone, not for the things they need. Like here, just we are having, they say Black Friday, whatever it is, whatever Friday it is, yellow, green, or black. Why you have to spend on things that you don't need in the
Mm.
first place?
Mm.
And they are doing that.
Because
And for young generation,
it's a consumer culture, right? It's
exact
made a
and
consumer culture.
exact. And for the young generation that we were talking about, it's easy for them. All we have to do is to show them that it is
Mm.
also cool to be simple. A simple wedding would look more cool. And now people learn from our culture. Like there was series Resurrection Irtugul. People are fan of the series now after it's been dubbed in Urdu here in Pakistan, and they say that this is the Islamic culture. They like that thing after seeing that, but still they are not learning that what exactly it is. So the young generation need to learn. The simple is that, and if they are not going to learn, all to educate them, all I can say them is they have to pay the price for that in one way or another. And it's their life. If they have to change that thing, whatever has done in the past, don't try to change who are superior to you, but try to change what goes after you. Like you can, if you haven't been able to speak to your parent when it was time for your wedding, you cannot deny the offer of like dowry, but at least teach that thing to your children. So in future, in that situation, when they find themselves, they can say, no, we are not going to take that. At least we can do that. And
Mm.
that is the easy part. And if we cannot even educate our children or teach them these customs, then if we are talking about that, this discussion like we are having, then no point of having that kind of discussion.
Mm.
We have to be like, we talk about culture, like whatever has happened, even the time, even Prophet Hazrat Umar radiallahu anha came in that time. What would he do? I have to be the one responsible for my life. I have to do good things.
Mm.
People cannot force you to do things. So you have to be like smart enough and do things. It's a lame excuse. Like people say, like people curse the people, like where we start. People curse the toxic people for all these toxic things. Actually, they are not the cause of for that. You are the cause for that. You have to stop doing those things. And when there is no demand, there won't be any supply. And
Yep.
it would be easy
Absolutely.
for the young generation need to learn that. And again, other thing, being simple. Wedding should be done simple. It could be my thought. People will not buy into it because here in Pakistan, religion is a main factor. People sell, like, do politics on religion, sell their stuff on religion. They are selling, they are doing their sale. They are more concerned about getting money from people pocket, and their tagline is blessed Friday. They don't care about blessed or black. They care about your money, and they will find a way, whatever it is, to get that money out of your pocket. So you have to be smart enough, and you have to educate yourself. Like, I have to stop to those things, and by then we can hope and we can pray that things will get better. Otherwise, there is no other way we can do that.
Right, right.
It's not like you
Absolutely.
can it's look like not like an antidote or a vaccine, or like, if like toxicity, I'll write them a course of capsule, like eat this for 3 months and you will be
No,
refreshed.
absolutely. I totally agree with you. Now we'll wrap it on this. And before we conclude, I'll say my last words, and Hanan, you say your last. For me, I think my message to anybody, especially Pakistanis in this space, is because we were talking about our culture and the toxicities in our culture. I think one of the few things I want to share with you from this conversation is, if something is bothering you, if something that you don't like, if something wrong is happening, take action and change it. Change it. Don't sit and talk about it. Don't shift the blame outside. Look within yourself and ask yourself, what can I do to make it better? Okay, for example, I told you I took care of that trash, right? Little things, it's not much, it was just my area. Now it's opened my mind that, okay, maybe one day me and my kids can go out, wear gloves, and pick up trash around the community. And somebody will look at us and follow us, right? So you're leading by example. It's something that bothers you, right? But instead of complaining, I want you to shift your mindset that I am not going to complain, but I'm going to think of what I can do to change it. That is the shift I want. Is that we are so sucked in just complaining, and increasing the negativity. Let's shift that and say, okay, this is bothering me. This is something I'm whining and complaining about. What can I do? Because I hold that power within me. What can I do to change it? Number one. Number two, like Hanan said, toxicity. Okay, this is toxic. This person has toxic behavior. This is toxic. Culture is toxic. Whatever in your head is toxic, change it. How do you change it? Because you have the power. When you stop feeding on it, it's going to go away. It's as simple as that. If somebody, listen, we're talking about boundaries. I'm giving a mastermind class. Sign up if you haven't already. What are we teaching? Everything starts with boundaries. What are boundaries? Boundaries are having self respect. First of all, having respect for yourself. If you don't respect yourself, you're not going to respect anybody, right? So you have to learn to set boundaries. So set that boundary. Okay, this is toxic behavior. This is toxic culture. I will not be a part of it. Simple. I will not be a part of it. Okay, if you're against Mehndi, since we were talking about wedding, using that an example, I do not agree with dowry or Mehndi or all these non-Islamic cultures. Don't go to people who are doing the Mehendis. Set the example. Live up to your word. Then, only then will people see and follow. Nobody is going to just, nobody. Even look at our kids, they do not listen, they follow by example. We've all grown up, we all have parents, and we've all seen what have we actually taken from our parents. It was not the lectures they gave us, it was the examples they set in stone, right? For me, my parents always used to pray. I've always seen them pray. And that's something automatically, subconsciously, my mind had adapted to, that I always have to pray, regardless where I am, in a shopping mall, wherever, in a car. I have to pray. So the power of setting an example is through taking action in doing so. So please, I want you to really have that mindset where this is bothering me, this is negative, this is bad. Okay, what can I do to change it? Instead of complaining, I'm sort of repeating it again. Instead of complaining, think about what you can do, what small step you can take to change, because it's just the little things we do that add up to a better tomorrow. Hanan, anything that you would like to add to it for everybody listening to you?
For everybody who is willing to change or who is willing to put change in future in his culture or in her society or anywhere or in her home, wherever he wants. The thing is, try what I advise you to for a little moment. Please be a little selfish and stop thinking about the society and culture and the toxic people. Start thinking about your own self, the boundary again, as you mentioned earlier. Start thinking about yourself and ask yourself, do you want to change yourself for better? Do you want to change yourself for the life you have wished for? Do you want to see your children to brought up in a certain culture? And if the answer for all those questions is yes, then start changing yourself. And if you cannot change yourself or improve yourself, then you are not going to bring change in your society, in your culture, in your home, anywhere. Start from yourself and stop thinking about that you are going to bring change in society, you are going to educate people, you are going to make this world a better place for your children or for the generations to come. You If you change yourself and improve yourself, they will automatically receive the results, the outcome of your change. You don't have to do anything special or something out of the box to change your society. Just do simple things and change yourself. And everything that you don't like for yourself and don't like for yourself, don't do it to other. And if you do
Yes.
the same thing, and in future, if you are the victim of that same thing, trust me, at that time, don't be sad. Actually, you actually deserve that thing, and you got it through your hard work that you did earlier. So don't blame others. If you are receiving something bad, you might have, or in most cases, people have actually done that bad thing by themselves in past. So that is why they are receiving this. So please, folks, try to be a little selfish for some time or for start, and focus on yourself. That is what I'm going to say for now.
Absolutely. One more thing I quickly want to add to that is, guys, I think one of the
Yeah, sure.
things I think is that when we look at somebody, I want you to think of somebody you look up to, whether it's your parents, whether it's somebody in your family, whether it's your teacher, whether it's Tony Robbins, whether it's anybody. Well, I look up to Tony Robbins, that's why I'm giving an example. But anybody you look up to, any personality you look up to, I want you to say, what do you think? What do you like about that person? Why do you look up to them? Ask yourself, because of their personality, because of their integrity, because of the things they've done. Okay, let's take Mother Teresa. Everybody knows we love her because what she's done for the world. She's contributed all her life in service, right? I love her. She was such an incredible person. It's so sad that she's gone from the world. Well, I want you to tap into, if you liked her, if you looked up to her, if you thought what she did was amazing, you could do that. Be the replacement. Instead of sitting and thinking and wishing only and not taking action on it, take action. People that inspire you, people that you look up to, the good you see in others, take it and use it, apply it on you. That is how we can bring change. We cannot just say, hi, look at this person, he's so amazing, I wish I was like that. You can be like that. You hold that power. When you see something good, don't say I wish, because you always
Hmm.
have the power to do that. So, on that note, guys, I hope that this was an incredible conversation. Before we wrap up, I'll just like to say I am doing a mastermind class on boundaries. The link is in my bio. Go ahead, sign up, because that link is going away soon. If you have any questions, you can DM me. Hanan, thank you so much for your time,
Players
a
all mine,
valuable
like
time.
also
And it was an
players
amazing
all mine.
conversation, and I will bring you back once again next year.
Okay. Inshallah, inshallah. We will
Inshallah,
look
inshallah.
for there. Yep.
Take care, Hanan. Take care, everybody. We are out. Allah Hafiz. Bye bye.
Allah Hafiz.